Hello, my name is EJZ Namdi Stanley, and this is my final presentation for the IT330 Azure Technology System Building Project. And in my presentation, I'll walk you through the Azure infrastructure I developed throughout the components that were completed, including identity and access management storage, virtual machines, networking, and monitoring and security. I will also discuss some of the challenges I encountered during the project and the skills I developed through the experience. Um, on the second slide, about the overview of the project, the main objective of this project was to design and deploy a secure Azure cloud infrastructure that could meet the company's business and security requirements. This project was completed through several milestones. This included configuring Microsoft Entra IDs, creating departmental security groups, deploying Azure storage, creating virtual machines, building a secure virtual networks, and configuring monitoring and security. Um, the overall goals was to create an environment that was secure, scalable, organized, and capable of supporting the company's business operations. For the third slide, which is the identity and management, the first major part of this project was to identify and access management. The objective was to create users and organize employees into secure departments. I configured Microsoft Entra ID users and created their security groups, sales and marketing, engineering, and customer success. I then assigned users to their respective groups and configured role-based access permissions. This was important because proper identity and access management helps protect companies' resources. It also makes users administration easier and allow access to be controlled based on a user role and department. This part of the project gave me practical experience with managing identities and permission in Azure. For the next slide, which talks about Azure storage, the next stage of this project was configuring Azure storage, and the objective was to provide secure cloud storage for the different departments. I created an Azure storage account and configured storage container for organizing the company's data. I also assigned permission using the department security groups and configured secure cloud storage. The main benefit of this setup is that the company's documents can be centrally stored while access remains controlled. Azure Storage also provides a reliable and scalable solution that can grow with the organization's needs. For the next slide is the virtual machines, which is the first step. I focused on deploying virtual machines for the company's departments. I deployed 6 virtual machines in total. 2 were assigned to sales and marketing, 2 to engineering, and 2 to customer success. And the virtual machines were named Sales VM1 and VM2, Engineering VM1 and VM2, Customer Success VM1 and Customer Success VM2. I also configured departmental permissions, remote access, and the operating system for the virtual machines. The purpose of this design was to provide each department with dedicated computing resources while maintaining appropriate access control and separation between the teams. For my next slide, which is the virtual network rather. The next major milestone was creating the virtual network, and the objective was to create a secure network infrastructure that would allow the virtual machine to communicate appropriately while limiting unnecessary communications between departments. I created an Azure virtual network and configured separate network assignments for each department. Azure DNS was also used to for automatic IP address assignments. The network configuration was designed to control communication between departments while still allowing the necessary connectivity and internet access. This part of the project helped me understand how network segmentation and IP address management can improve security and organization within a cloud environment. Moving to the seventh slide, um, which talks about monitoring and security. The final major build component was monitoring and security actually, and I configured Azure Monitor to provide visibility into the Azure environment and applied network security group to help control network traffic and protect resources. I also organized the Azure resources and reviewed security best practices to ensure that the environment was properly managed. Monitoring is important because it allows administrators to identify problems and understand system performance. Security controls are equally important because they help protect resources from unauthorized access. Together, these features make the Azure environment easier to manage, monitor, and troubleshoot. The next slide is about challenges and solutions. One of the major challenges I encountered during this project was that my Azure subscription expired before I could complete the final live demonstration. And instead of allowing this challenge to stop the project, I followed my instructor's guidance and documented the completed Azure environment. I prepared this PowerPoint presentation to summarize each project milestone and explain the work that was completed. I am also using narration to walk through the project and communicate what I learned. This experience taught me that cloud projects require not only technical knowledge, but also planning, documentation, communication, problem solving, and adaptability. And being able to adjust when circumstances change is an important skill that I will continue to use in my future IT career. For my next slide is about skills I developed. Throughout this project, I developed both technical and professional skills. On the technical side, I gained practical experience with Entra ID, Microsoft Entra ID, Azure Storage, Azure Virtual Machines, Azure Virtual Networking, Azure DNS, Azure Monitor, and Network Security Group. And I also developed professional skills such as cloud administration, problem solving, security awareness, documentation, project planning, and communication. And one of the most valuable things I learned is that these skills work together. I A successful cloud environment requires more than simply creating resources. It requires planning, security, organization, and the ability to clearly communicate technical decisions. On For my project summary, to conclude, I completed the major components of the Azure System Building project, including Microsoft Entra ID, configuration, departmental security groups, the Azure Storage, virtual machines, virtual networking, and monitoring and security. And this project strengthened my understanding of how different Microsoft Azure services work together to create a secure and scalable cloud environment. It also gave me experience thinking about cloud infrastructure from a business perspective. I rather than focus only on individual technical tasks. The knowledge and experience I gained from this project have strengthened my technical skills and has prepared me for future opportunities in cloud administration and information technology. Thank you for your time.